The Biden gun tax plan applies to rifles and applies to magazines that hold more than 10 rounds for handguns and for, because you can buy some magazines for handguns that hold more than 10 rounds. And it would be a $200 tax on a rifle. It would be a $200 tax on any magazine that holds more than 10 rounds. That's what I've been telling people, but I got this mail piece in the mail yesterday, or Saturday. I'm sorry, it was a door knocker. Door knocker came by with this. And on the door knocking, one of the things they highlight is the gun tax. And they say it would apply to handguns and rifles. Now, I've looked up the Biden white paper, and the Biden white paper says only long barrel guns, rifles particularly, not shotguns, although according to the language that they're using long barrel, yeah, it would be rifles and shotguns, and then magazines that hold more than 10 rounds, not handguns. Handguns are not mentioned. The flyer on the door says handguns, and I went and checked, and it looks like, I think it was Dick Durbin last week was asked about this gun tax, and whoever it was, I think it was Durbin, I'm not 100% sure, I think it was Durbin, said that they would apply it, they would want to apply it to handguns as well, and they would want to apply everything retroactively. Now, I don't know that they would do it. The white paper doesn't say handguns. And I actually think it would be a constitutional issue if they tried to retroactively charge you $200 for something you had already bought. I think it would probably get thrown out of court. But for sure, the Biden gun plan calls for a $200 tax on each rifle you own or would buy. It calls for a $200 tax on every magazine over 10 rounds. And if you buy an AR-15, your magazine typically holds 25 rounds. So it's $200 for the rifle, $200 for each magazine. It adds up pretty quick. They claim they want to do it an annual fee, not just a one-time tax. That, again, constitutionally dubious. But even if a one-time tax, it drives up your costs. But then here's the catch. They would also add you to a gun registry. So they would create a national database. Now, remember New York. New York created a gun registry and then allowed the press access to it. And some of the local media in New York published the names of every gun owner in New York City and where they lived. That actually happened. The media downplayed it, but it actually happened. You can see how they would target gun owners for harassment or for theft. I mean, gangs just got a list of all the people whose houses they could rob to steal guns. That's what they want to do. Now, you're saying, well, what if I don't pay the tax? Well, here's the catch. They're not going to charge you with unlawfully owning guns. They're not even going to charge you with unlawfully avoiding a registration database. They're going to use the IRS to go after you. They're going to use the regulatory power of the IRS to charge you with tax evasion because it's a tax that you're not paying. So you'll be charged by the IRS with tax evasion and go to jail for tax evasion. You won't go to jail for owning guns. You'll go to jail for avoiding taxes. And it's a $10,000 fine or 10 years in jail. So it could be 5 years in jail and a $5,000 fine. It could be jail time. It could be a fine. It could be a penalty. But that's what they want to do. They're never going to charge you with owning a gun because it's your constitutional right to own a gun. They're going to charge you with tax evasion because you have a constitutional obligation to pay taxes. That's the way they're shaping the system. That's the way it's designed. That's the way they want to do it. We got a real problem here with all of this. And the only way to stop it, you just heard that clip. I played that clip earlier. Joe Biden says he can't do this stuff by executive action. He's got to have the Senate. The way you avoid Joe Biden getting the Senate is you in Georgia go vote.